Pros are just graceful amateurs who know how to recover from their mistakes. Kevin Kelly. My friends, each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes, that is all we ask. Welcome to this week's weekly review and forecast. We're going to look over the charts we track every single day, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, 20-year bonds, gold, and Bitcoin. We see everything up for the day. Gold just a little below flat. Let's talk about the S&P 500. Not up much, 0.12%, but up. As we look at things, we have an up week. We have a higher high. We have a bigger candle. We're not quite to the average when it comes to the volume, but it's not too bad. We look at where we are on the 2-day, and this is a closed 2-day candle. We are flat over these 2 days. And we look at, and we can see more of it as we look at the half-day chart, where things popped up and then starting on Wednesday sort of dropped and then tried to build up again. Again, volume weakening as we went throughout the week. And of course, we will keep an eye on things, but they are moving in the right direction. Now, as we approach this area where the market popped up before, where we started this trade, we can see starting on August the 28th and where things topped there, we're right around that area. Is that going to be a ceiling for us? Could we go higher, maybe up to where things topped before on that week beginning July the 31st? Don't know. It gives us a little more room to go up. We'll see as the new week starts, but this move going in the right direction. Now let's look at the Qs, the NASDAQ 100. Of course, as we look at where this is topping, we see that it is topping around where things topped before, going again back to that July 17 already up there. And again, on the 2-day chart, we can see for over these 4 days, we've topped about the same spot. We can see it here on the half-day chart. Actually extends to about 4 days, 1, 2, 3, and close on those days before, particularly where things really popped up on Tuesday, the 14th of November in the morning, then carried up a little more into Wednesday morning, and then pretty much sideways since then. So we'll keep an eye on it. We can see that we're right at average on the weekly chart, above average on that 2-day chart. So we're seeing more strength in the NASDAQ 100 versus the S&P 500. So we will be watching to see if we're going to have a ceiling here and bounce off of it, or if we're going to push through it. Don't know, but we'll be watching that. Put that in your show notes to pay attention to as we jump into this next week. Now, what about bonds? They were, next to Bitcoin, they were the biggest climber for the day, 0.47%. And of course, bonds turned around. We saw all that high volume as things were hitting their low and then turning around with this spinning top here. You can see the week beginning the 30th of October. And then over the last couple of weeks, things have continued to edge up a little as volume has been decreasing a little bit, but again, well above average. So that's good to see. As we look at where we are on the 2-day, again, moving up, volume dropping off these last 2 days. Up in the morning, average volume on Friday, petering off a little bit in the afternoon. So again, keep our eye on bonds as they try to turn around and move up after that strong many weeks of down movement, and of course, successful trades for us as that was occurring as we were shorting bonds with Tango Bravo Foxtrot, TBF, which is the single short that we practice trade when the bond market is going down. Now let's look at gold. Gold, like I said, almost flat, 0.01, 0.1%. Gold has really just been sliding sideways down, tending down a little bit, but we can see this last 2-day candle popping up through that weekly trend line. But we ended the week again with, on this weekly chart, weaker volume and a spinning top here. So we're just going to watch, wait and see as the week gets reset whether gold's going to continue its climb or if it's just gearing up to be shorted further. Now, lastly, let's look at Bitcoin. We saw Bitcoin climb up this week, really blowing off a lot of that energy, decent volume, well above average volume. We can see on this 2-day chart where, again, things moved up, turned into a spinning top, and then a red doji showing indecision tending down. We look at where things are on the half day. We're above it, came down to it and touched it, settled right there on it at the end of the day. Like I said, up 1.58%. So our biggest gainer for the day as we start this new week out with Bitcoin. Going to pay close attention to it as it starts and moves ahead to see if indeed Bitcoin is going to continue moving forward or if it's dying on the vine, getting ready to pull back as it has throughout the course of this year after bumping up. But this is, one of the most solid since the beginning of the year, one of the most solid up moves that we have had, and one of the easiest to track as things started to take off. So that is where we are as we end the week, as we look forward to this next week. My friends, we always love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. And of course, if you're not a Patreon member, get all sorts of great things when you join. The first thing you get is our Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way 3-part series. First thing in your mailbox. You will get a lot of that. If you're interested in learning what options are all about, that is the way to do it. Plus, each and every week you get early access charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. You get your own special 3-wave trades. Plus, you get our up to 20 weekly vertical crossovers every week on the S&P 500 to always give you something exciting to look forward to practice trading. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.